What's up guys, it's Smitty back with another video. Today we'll be discussing who are the best 50 players in the NBA. Before we start, just a reminder to check if you're subscribed to my channel. It's completely free, it takes about 2 seconds to do, and it really helps out my channel. And if you happen to enjoy this video, please make sure to like it, it'll help promote this video to other people. Thanks guys, I appreciate your support. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. With the NBA postseason coming to a close, it's about time to rank the top players in the league. Typically, this is a controversial topic, and to be honest, these are just my opinions, so if you disagree, it's completely fine. I'll try to stay as unbiased as possible and try to take everything into consideration when placing these players in order. Also, for injured players, I'm assuming they'll come back the same as their previous fully healthy year. The only exclusion for this is John Wall, but I'll get into that when the time comes. Starting off with our honorable mentions, we have in no particular order: Kevin Love, Jrue Holiday, Tobias Harris, Gordon Hayward, Jusuf Nurkic, Danilo Gallinari, Lonzo Ball, Mike Conley, Jaren Jackson Jr., Michael Porter Jr., DeAndre Ayton, Colin Sexton, RJ Barrett, Rui Hachimura, Goran Dragic, Fred VanVleet, Duncan Robinson, Zach LaVine, De'Aaron Fox, Andrew Wiggins, Bojan Bogdanovic, Tobias Harris, Buddy Hield, and Devontae Graham. Coming in at number 50 is Andre Drummond on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Andre is a traditional big man. He is able to post up against anyone, and he grabs a ton of rebounds. Averaging 18 points and 15 rebounds, he is a very solid big man in the NBA. At number 49, we got Draymond Green on the Golden State Warriors. Despite having a horrible season this year, I believe that he'll be an X factor for Golden State's championship run next season. I believe he will step up his game to a level similar to his 2016 season. At number 48, we got Tyler Herro on the Miami Heat. In his rookie year, Tyler has proven that he'll be a future star in the league. In my opinion, he is the third best player in this draft class, only behind Zion and Ja. Without Tyler Herro, I believe that the Heat would have lost to the Celtics. At number 47, we got Brandon Ingram. Brandon is showing signs of a young Kevin Durant. He has a similar frame and scoring style. He can pull up from deep and take the ball to the rack if needed. He had a spectacular year this year, averaging 24 points, and I believe that he'll continue to grow into a star player. At 46, we got CJ McCollum. Personally, I think that CJ is a little overrated. In crunch time, CJ isn't a go-to guy, and is best suited as a second or third option on a playoff team. Therefore, I cannot place him any higher on this list. At 45, I got John Wall. Honestly, I have no clue how good John Wall will be next season. He could potentially come back to full strength, but I doubt it. I can see him averaging 20 points next season, so I'll slot him in here. At 44, we got Nikola Vucevic. Nikola is a weird player to rank since he tends to be a streaky player. Some nights he'll drop 40, and others he'll seem uninvolved. I have no strong opinion on him, and I think that he deserves to be in the top 50 because he led the Magic to the playoffs. At 43, we got Chris Middleton. I was anticipating to put him higher on this list, but after the playoffs this year, I am not as fond of him anymore. He left Giannis hanging when he needed him the most, and proved he cannot be the second best player on a championship team. At 42, we got TJ Warren. I didn't know much about TJ Warren until he popped off in the playoffs. For a moment, he was looking like the second coming of Michael Jordan. If TJ keeps it up, the Pacers could be a force to be reckoned with next season. At 41, we got Ja Morant. Ja's continued to prove his worth, this time in the NBA. Ja was arguably the leader of the Grizzlies this season and almost led them to the playoffs single-handedly. I predict Ja to be a top 10 player in the league one day. At 40, I got Zion Williamson. It's a bit controversial putting him above Ja, but personally I think it's the right decision. If Zion stays healthy, the Pelicans can make a good run in the playoffs next year. Obviously he has injury concerns, but for this take, I'm going to look on the bright side. The man is built like a tank and has great footwork and agility. Nobody is stopping this freight train. At 39, I got D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo balled out in Brooklyn alongside LeVert and Allen a couple seasons ago. After being traded to Minnesota from Golden State, I think he now has a place to settle into. He is teammates with his good friend Karl Anthony Towns, and there are rumors the Wolves will trade for Devin Booker, another friend of D'Lo. I am predicting big things from D'Lo this year. I believe that the Wolves have a chance to make the 8th seed in the West, a tough task in the star-studded conference. At 38, I got LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge has been a staple player in the Spurs organization for a while now. Even though he's getting older, he still puts up almost all-star caliber numbers on good efficiency. Similar to Tim Duncan, he's able to get easy, highly efficient shots for his team. This is an underrated aspect in basketball, and I believe Aldridge could be a third option on a championship team. At 37, I got Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis played great for the Pacers this year and landed himself a spot as an NBA All-Star. Even though I don't think he deserved it, Sabonis is a very underrated player. He is an efficient scorer that has very underrated defense. Without him, the Pacers wouldn't have made the playoffs at all. At 36, I got Blake Griffin. Unfortunately, Blake is a declining player in the NBA. His old days with the Clippers are long gone, and his athleticism is dwindling. However, I am impressed how Blake is shaping his game these days. Instead of relying on his brute athleticism, he has developed a great jump shot, and his IQ is now off the charts. Blake is still a valuable player in the league, and he could definitely win the chip as a third option. At 35, I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai is another underrated player. He has a natural gift for scoring the basketball, and he is an above-average defender. Paired alongside Chris Paul, Shai was able to put up some great numbers for the Thunder this year. The future is bright for this guy. At 34, I got DeMar Darnell DeRozan. The more I say it, the less I like it. DeMar's glory days with the Raptors are long gone, and to be honest, it makes me sad he never won a chip with them. Despite being a letdown for the Spurs, DeMar is still a great player in this league, and he arguably has the best mid-range game in the league. At 33, I got Kristaps Porzingis. He may be a little high on this list, but I think he will have a breakout year in 2021. Him and Luka are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the West. At 32, I got Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has shown that he can be a productive player in the playoffs. In some of the Celtics games this postseason, Jaylen took control of the game with ease. He's an elite defender, and I am expecting him to be an all-star next season. At 31, I got Trae Young. Trae averaged 30 points this year with the Hawks at only 22 years old. I believe that in a few years, Trae will be a top 10 player in the league. He still has a long way to go on the defensive end, but Trae is already a top 10 scorer in this league. At number 30, I got Rudy Gobert. Gobert is an elite defender, arguably the best in the league. His presence on defense is unmatched by any other center. However, offensively, Gobert isn't so effective. His shooting percentages from outside the paint are horrible, and he cannot create any offense by himself. All in all, Gobert is a player that can be dropped into any system and succeed. At 29, I got Victor Oladipo. Despite his injuries this season, I believe that Oladipo will make a comeback, just like he did in 2019. He's a good scorer and an even better defender. If he stays in Indiana, they can make a huge run in the playoffs next season. At 28, I got Ben Simmons. Ben is a controversial player because he's a guard that cannot shoot. Correction, Ben Simmons won't shoot. Even though he can literally do everything else on the court, his kryptonite is his shooting, which is a vital aspect for a guard in today's game. If Ben develops a consistent jumper, the league better watch out. At 27, I got Kemba Walker. In Charlotte, Kemba was regarded as a top scorer in the NBA. However, once traded to Boston, he took a backseat to Jason Tatum respectively. Therefore, I cannot place him any higher on this list, since he isn't even the best player on his own team. At 26, I got Kyle Lowry. It was very tough to decide over Lowry and Kemba, but I gave the edge to Lowry because of his leadership and ability to take charges. Lowry has shown to be a great leader for a contending NBA team. Even if he isn't the number one option, Lowry is able to rally a squad together as one, no matter the circumstances. At 25, I got Bradley Beal. Similar to Kemba's case in Charlotte, Beal has the ball in his hands 24/7, which led to him leading the league in points. I think that if Beal was traded to a better team, where he was the second option, Beal would average closer to 23 or 24 points per game. At 24, I got Bam Adebayo. Bam has shown how impactful he is on the floor this postseason. He has such a strong presence on defense and is still a great scorer on offense. Bam has a bright future in Miami ahead of him. At 23, I got Jamal Murray. Jamal really stepped it up this playoffs. He was playing like a top 10 caliber player and led his team super far, upsetting the Los Angeles Clippers. If Jamal performs like this next season, I'm definitely moving him into my top 10, but for now I need more evidence of his greatness. At 22, I got Paul George. George was a huge letdown this year. It really seemed like he gave up in the playoffs. I know George is better than this, and I hope he does better next season. I'll give him a break for this season, however the playoff P memes are really funny. At 21, I got Pascal Siakam, aka Spicy P. Siakam was also a letdown this postseason, but I predict that he'll continue to grow as a player, similar to the last 2 seasons. He also has a great future ahead of him. Moving into the top 20, I'm going to go a little more in depth on all the players. At 20, I got Klay Thompson. Despite sitting out last season, I believe that Klay will come back just as good, if not better than his previous self. If you really think about it, Klay has had over a year to recover and work on his shooting. This brother is going to be a problem next season. Klay has always been regarded as a top 10 shooter of all time and a great defender. This season, I believe that him and the rest of Golden State will take back their dominance in the West. At 19, I got Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is my favorite player in the league. He is such an entertaining player to watch, his dunks are ferocious, and he leaves it all out on the court every single night. However, Russ can be a bull in a china shop. He seems to lose control sometimes because of how fast he's going. Also, not to mention, he isn't a great playmaker and tends to put the blinders on when driving the lane. His shooting slump this season was also a huge disappointment for the Rockets, who just traded away their future for him. If Russ can get a consistent jumper, he could definitely slip into the top 10. At 18, I got Chris Paul. It is very controversial putting Paul above Russ, but this season Paul has shown his leadership values. This is what got the Thunder so far this season, and it is a quality Russ doesn't have. Paul's IQ is off the charts. He has so much experience in the league, only rivaled by LeBron James. At 17, I got Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell played unbelievable in the playoffs this season. Unfortunately, they blew the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, but it was a close battle. Him and Jamal Murray went at it, and the only reason why the Jazz lost was because of Mitchell's supporting cast going cold. I believe that Mitchell is the second coming of Westbrook, only with a jump shot. At 16, I got Jason Tatum. As much as I hate him, his talent is something I cannot disregard. Tatum is already a star in the league, and he's barely getting started. His ability to remain calm in huge moments shows how gifted he is. The next step for Tatum is to be even more aggressive in crunch time. Sometimes he gave up the ball to Kemba in these moments, even though everyone knows he's the better overall player. At 15, I got Karl Anthony Towns. Despite not achieving anything in his career so far, Towns is a big-time talent. Offensively, he is polished in every aspect. He can shoot, take defenders on the dribble, post up, pass, and body smaller defenders. However, Towns is very average on defense, despite his great frame. If Towns can become a consistent shot blocker, the Wolves can make the next step with him and D'Lo. At 14, I got Devin Booker. This may be a surprise to many of you, but Booker is the real deal. Unfortunately, the Suns are horrible. Booker single-handedly went undefeated in the bubble, an achievement no other team could achieve. Even though it didn't lead to a playoff berth, that's all the evidence I need to jump on his bandwagon. At 13, I got Joel Embiid. Embiid is the most dominant player in the league, period. It's very unfortunate that he is paired with Ben Simmons. The two do not mesh well at all. In order for Embiid to take the next step in the league, he needs to control his emotions and stay healthy. Embiid is very immature, and at the moment is a locker room disturber. Nobody wants a guy with his attitude on their team. It reminds me of DeMarcus Cousins in his prime. Hopefully Embiid takes therapy sessions after Kawhi's great shot. At 12, I got Kyrie Irving. I have split feelings about Kyrie. On one hand, he has everything skill-wise that a guard in today's game needs. He has a great shot, unbelievable handles, and is able to make clutch shots with his back against the wall. However, Kyrie isn't a leader or a model figure. He makes controversial quotes and happens to think he is the Messiah. Kyrie needs to wake up and realize he isn't the best player in the world, and that him and KD will need to work for this next chip. At 11, I got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy has performed better than any other player in this postseason. He has shown that he has no glaring weaknesses and that he can lead a team to a championship. Jimmy is the definition of a two-way player. Arguably a top 5 defender, Butler can lock down anyone on the floor, and offensively is great at attacking the rim. When required to shoot, Jimmy can still make a bucket. Jimmy is showing signs of Michael Jordan in terms of his competitive nature. The only thing keeping him out of the top 10 is being more aggressive in the fourth quarter. Jimmy is a little shy at shooting the 3-ball, and he will need to improve it in order to be a top 10 player in the NBA. At 10, I got Nikola Jokic. Jokic is a special player. He is the best passing big man we've ever seen. He can create offense simply by standing in the paint with the ball. Not many players in the NBA have this presence on the offensive end. Jokic is a liability on defense. He got exposed in the Lakers series by Anthony Davis. Other than that, Jokic is a very productive player, averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, a very impressive stat line for a big man. At 9, I got Damian Lillard. Dame Dolla is a prolific scorer. He has a great handle, playmaking ability, and has the second deepest range in the NBA, only behind Steph Curry. Averaging 30 points and 8 assists, Dame is extremely productive offensively. If Portland surrounds him with a couple more pieces, the Blazers could make a huge run next season. At 8, I got Luka Doncic. At age 21, Luka has already shown his dominance. Luka carries a calm disposition, which allows him to make the right play every possession. He is a great shooter, and at 6'7", it is almost impossible to block him. He averaged 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists in the playoffs, which is similar stats to Magic Johnson in his prime. Luka will most likely become the best player in the world soon enough, and the Mavericks are lucky to have him. At 7, I got James Harden. Harden is the greatest scorer in the NBA, without a doubt. In D'Antoni's system, he is able to play iso ball whenever he wants. This is a great strategy in the regular season, but every year it has let the Rockets down in the playoffs. If Harden wants to be considered top 5, he will need to improve his defense and learn how to distribute the basketball efficiently. At 6, I got Anthony Davis. Mr. Unibrow is a force to be reckoned with. When played at the 5, AD is almost unfair to play against. He's arguably the best defender in the league and is a very polished scorer. AD can take opponents off the dribble, shoot over them, and distribute the ball effectively. What else could you want from a guy that averaged 2.5 blocks per game? At 5, I got Steph Curry. Despite sitting out this season, Steph is still in my top 5. Similar to Clay, Steph has had over a year to polish up his game. I wouldn't be surprised if Steph is pulling up from the logo 3 to 4 times per game next season. He averaged 28 points per game last time he was in the playoffs, and people are still counting out the Warriors next season. At 4, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Imagine having a 13-letter last name. Jeez. Giannis is the second most dominant player in the league, only behind Embiid. However, Giannis doesn't have an attitude problem or big injury concerns. I think Giannis will join the Heat in free agency, and if he does, the NBA better watch out. Giannis averaged 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists this season. Can we take a moment to acknowledge how incredible these numbers are? Paired alongside Jimmy, Bam, and company, the Heat would win multiple titles. At 3, I got Kevin Durant. Before he got injured, I believe that KD was the greatest player in the world. He is the greatest offensive player we've ever seen. Yes, I know who Michael Jordan is. KD can pull up from literally anywhere, take defenders' ankles, dunk on opponents in the paint, and not to mention the guy is basically 7 feet tall. Last time KD was in the playoffs, he averaged 32 points per game. The Nets are going to be a lethal team next season if KD comes back similar to his previous self. At 2, I got Kawhi Leonard. Even though the Clippers were the biggest disappointment in the playoffs this season, Kawhi is still a good player. He averaged 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, which are still remarkable numbers. Not to mention, Kawhi might be the best defender in the league. This guy could probably palm a school bus in his left hand. All jokes aside, I hope the Clippers get their act together next season, or else Kawhi is going to abort the ship. At number 1, we got Alex Caruso. Just kidding, it's LeBron James. Do I even need to explain myself on this one? LeBron should have won MVP this season, and by the time this video is posted, he will probably have another NBA championship. Him and AD did great this season, and I can't wait to see what will come from them next season. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel to stay updated for future posts. Peace out.